And that, well, the last segment, the Inner Circle and the Elite folks, from the time Guevara and MJF singing Judas badly, I wrote down here, these guys were having fun with the situation rather than WWE making fun of the business in this situation. And the Matt Hager and Santana and Ortiz against Cody and Matt and Paige. Thankfully, since Brandy was ring announcing, she didn't have to corner this.
And by the way, I know she doesn't want to ring announce anymore, and we always joke about her finding a way to get on TV no matter what.
She was a good ring announcer.
She was worlds better than Justin Roberts.
Well, of course. And Omega and Arn, I guess Omega has a broken hand no, he's got a broken pinky. That's why he's been out of action with a broken pinky. Did you hear this?
Yep.
That's why he cannot compete. Ricky Morton literally had a broken hand. When somebody tweeted the clip of me cutting a promo about Ricky Morton wearing a cast on his hand, when we were working a program, the first big program for Crockett with him, Ricky Morton broke his hand, his actual hand, and put a cast on it and never missed a fucking match. And this guy's got a broken pinky, which I could make all kinds of fucking jokes. But anyway, I love this also, though, from the time Jericho said, well, there's Arn Anderson with his Waffle House menu, the clipboard that he has as a coach.
Jericho was great on commentary.
Yeah, Jericho was fantastic. He was being entertaining and still being a heel and getting shit across. Cody and Santana was tremendous. They worked. Again, this match, there were heels and baby faces. And they worked. They didn't just start doing every move they ever knew. You know, a little argument between Jackson and Paige, a nice steady pace, not 100 miles an hour, so you could absorb it, and it seemed like it made sense. They got some heat on fucking Cody, and he sells so well. And of course, Road Warrior Buck, I wrote, was the toughest guy in the building. At one point, instead of just trying to go stick the fucking heel to try to help your partner without breaking up the heat, he jumped on one of the heels and just peppered the guy with 86 punches, which is called basically throwing a wet blanket on the fucking heat. You're shitting on your partner because the guy in there selling has built to a certain level. And when the babyface has to come in and do something unless he's given a reason not to. So a lot of times on the heat, if there's been a double team by the heel, and the partner that's having the heat put on him goes down, the babyface has to come in and grab one of those heels by the fucking shoulder and spin him around and punch him one time. And then the referee steps in and starts backing him up, and he's protesting as the heels are feeding on the corpse while the referee's backing the partner out. But he made contact. He did something, but he didn't throw a wet blanket on the fucking heat. He didn't make it all for naught. He didn't make you have to start again. He didn't make a comeback at that point while his partner is still selling. He did what he needed to do to keep himself alive for the people and to make it look like he was trying, but still not interfere with the heat that his partner is fucking setting. Instead, Road Warrior Buck just jumps on one of the heels on the floor and just tattoos him 100 fucking times. Boom, 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 boom. I'm like, what the fuck? But they don't know because they've never gone to wrestling school. We forget. But anyway, Cody sold his ass off. Paige made a nice comeback. By the way, I'm blocked by Adam Page on Twitter. Did you know this?
You know, funny enough, I just noticed the other day I was blocked by Adam because someone tweeted out something that he had done, like a list of how to handle the coronavirus.
Yes, it's the same thing. I said, well, why don't I see this? And he's blocked me. What did the guys say good shit about? So maybe he is drunk. I don't know. But anyway, we're blocked by Adam Page. But Page made a nice comeback. Of Cody throwing Ortiz into MJF on the floor, I thought was fucking hilarious. And then it got complicated. They went through some shit, back and forth, blah, blah, blah. But finally, Santana rolls up Road Warrior Buck. Now, he can be powerbombed by 6 people and pop right back up and make a fucking hell of a comeback. But that fucking small package, boy, that'll take you down every time. But that was a good match. All these matches were good because they didn't overdo them. They didn't do all the dives and all the 100-mile-an-hour bullshit back and forth where you can't tell who's giving the move and who's taking it because they didn't have all those goofy fans that wants to see that shit in the building skewing their judgment. And for a television audience, you could actually follow this shit. These were the best matches up and down. It's the best show they've done, best matches up and down they've done. And Jericho was hilarious. Of course, they ended up going home, I assume, 3 minutes early, because there was a little fucking stretch to Jericho's promo.
Yeah.
But he can do it. That's the thing. Imagine if you'd have put one of the guys from the Performance Center out there and said, just kill time, talk for 3 minutes. Don't say anything. What the fuck are they going to do, right?
Plus, how great is Guevara? I told you early on that I loved him in that role with Jericho. Yeah. And he owns it. He's so good in that role now.
But anyway, they kill the time until here comes the drone. And you know they had to be so pissed because that would have gotten a huge pop in front of people.
Massive pop.
Massive pop. Hegstrandish in its fucking volume and Laurinaitis-like in its endurance.
And Road Warrior Buck-like, and that those fans will go crazy for it.
Yes, yes. But when they see Matt in the balcony, I guess that would have been a huge blow. I don't mean a huge, the people would have blown, they would have cheered, they would have popped. That would have been a huge pop in a fan-filled building. I'm wondering if with no fans, if he should have come to the stage or done something to where he hit Jericho with the twist of fate or anything and made some type of physical impact. But it's great he's there, and it's even better that he's not involved with the Dork Order, because now they got another main event guy. But I'm wondering, should he have been physical in that instance because there was no people there? But still, it's great that he's there, and they went off the show on a high note and drubbed NXT in the ratings.
So who controls the drone? Was he flying the drone, or does he have someone else?
I don't know how these the only drone I've ever seen in person, right? I'm standing in actually on my deck outside here at the office one fine spring day, enjoying the weather, just idly minding my own business a couple years ago, and I saw all of a sudden, I thought it was a goddamn big bird that had somehow had a heart attack and died and fallen out of the sky and landed in one of my maple trees. I'm like, what the fuck? That looked like a fucking big bird, and boy, it was coming down fast. And then I think nothing of it. And about 5-10 minutes later, I look out the window. I see some guy walking around in my backyard. Now, there is a subdivision behind there now, back there. But I'm still not used to having people behind me. And this was the first time in history of 60-plus years of the Cornettes living on this property that there'd ever been anybody in our backyard that we didn't invite or know was coming. So I went down there to have a conversation with him. First words out of my mouth was, "Can I fucking help you? I'm looking for my drone." Turned out as one of these yahoos lived over here in the subdivision back there. He didn't come over my fence because it's an 8-footer, but he had come over from the neighbors and then popped over my fence. But the point is, he's looking for his drone that has fallen out of the sky. But he's way off. He's like 200 feet off. I said, "I'll show you where it is." I just saw it, and I take him to the tree, and it's like 30 feet up in the fucking tree. I said, "Can you can you operate it so it'll fly out of there?" He said, "No, it's kind of dead." I said, "Well, I ain't climbing that tree, and you don't need to break any of my branches, so how you going to get it?" So we got a long pole, and he shimmied up as far as he could, and we knocked it out of the tree, and I saw the drone. That's the only drone I've actually ever been around in person.
If that guy only knew how lucky he was your mother wasn't there. She would have met him with a shotgun.
No, she gave Larry the shotgun a long time ago. She would have met him with a .22 rifle. Anyway, but AEW, All Elite Wrestling, empty arena for what was that, March 18th? From me to you, you did more of the good shit and less of the bad shit. And that's what I've been trying to get you to do. And through one lucky break or another, most of your comedy bullshit wasn't there, and it helped the program immensely. And the guys were allowed to be themselves and inject some of their personality into the program rather than being sanitized of all personality whatsoever.
Does it give you hope for next week's show if they have to continue with the empty arena format?
Well, if they do it like that, and now because now every single one of those guys, I'm sure, has ideas. I would imagine MJF has a million of them, of what else they could do to make it entertaining. And so they could do that, in my opinion, for a few weeks if they had matches this good and they had the patter around ringside. But they kept saying on the next Dynamite rather than next week because they don't even know, what the situation is, like none of us do. But they can't have the blood and guts match in an empty building. They better not do that.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking they're going to do, unfortunately.
Well, no, boy, I'd hate for them to just get one fucking round of applause one week, but no, do not do that. No, do not do that. That match needs the crowd. And besides that, if you give them away the first one for free on television with no people and it sucks, then they're going to have to go back to Newark and make those 10,000 people happy again at some point. And they need to give them that match.
They're going to take it on the road for the bash. Isn't that what you do?
Not before they're building a dome of steel in Atlanta. The first year, there was one on July 4th in Atlanta and then one in the Orange Bowl in Miami on July 31st. That was it for the War Games in 87. Because Dusty knew you had to make it special.
And how many times did they do it in 88?
No, the War Games?
Yeah.
They only did what? Three in 88. They did the pay-per-view, but there weren't that many. They didn't beat the scaffold matches they were crazy with, but they didn't beat the fucking War Games up until Turner took over.
Yeah, and then in 89, the most underrated one at the Bash 89, but you guys didn't do any of those on the road, did you?
No, I was just for the pay-per-view. All right, but anyway, AEW. I want to make sure we get that in. I actually applaud them for once. I don't applaud them for any of the people that I never applauded to begin with, but they did the best with their situation.